Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 38-year-old Pennsylvania resident Anthony Nolf traveled to D.C. with his sister Heather Kepley, and they also had their two 15-year-old sons with them. So Nolf had his son, Kepley had her son, and Nolf was seen moving security barricades out of the way as they reached the Capitol. His sister was handing them to him, and then he was moving them. So Nolf removed them and moved them away from the police so they couldn't be used against the crowd. And Nolf's group moved closer to the Capitol. They moved to the Lower West Terrace in particular, and they were outside of the tunnel as a ton of violence was going on. His sister was recording. He and his son and his nephew were standing back. They were watching as all these officers were being assaulted, and, you know, at least one of them, Officer Fanone, was dragged into the crowd and tasered and brutally assaulted. So despite seeing all of this, Nolf entered the tunnel. He entered the tunnel. His minor son also entered with him. And Nolf took part in that collective heave-ho push against the police that you guys have all seen on video. He was seen on video. He lowered his body and dropped his shoulder, and he started pushing against the people in front of him as they were pushing against the police. So he was adding his weight to that crowd. So eventually the police gained some ground. They pushed the mob back to the entrance of the tunnel. And in all of this melee, other members of Nolf's group, not Nolf himself, but his sister, his son, and his nephew all got knocked down. So they were temporarily trapped under the mob. They were literally being trampled by the mob. Now, luckily, his son was unharmed and they eventually got out. But his sister reported, she came out of it, first of all, with a bloody face. Her face was all bloody. And she said she thought she was going to die. So, you know, like I said in her videos, these are parents of the year here. So they stayed on the Capitol grounds. Even after that, even after seeing how violent this was getting, they remained on the Capitol grounds. It wasn't until after 5 p.m. when reinforcements arrived and police started shooting tear gas into the crowd, that's when they finally left the Capitol grounds. So following the Capitol attack, the FBI received a tip from his son's school because apparently his son was over bragging to other students about their crimes. He was like, yeah, we were over at the Capitol. His son, as with so many of these people, lied and said he watched a woman get shot. I don't know why they think that makes them cool to watch someone get shot. But anyway, so the FBI had a chat with Nolf on January 19th of 2021. He admitted that he and his son were at the Capitol, but he said, oh, we were just on the steps. We were far away from the police. We never went near them, never took part in any violence that day. So anyway, for some reason, Nolf wasn't arrested at that point. And so the FBI went back to speak with him a second time. They went back in November of 2021. He again downplayed his actions, even though they showed him photos of himself. They're like, here you are, you're pushing against the police. And Nolf then said, oh, yeah, I was just in the tunnel because I thought everyone was standing in line to get into the building. So, you know, he used like the Disneyland line defense. You know, was just waiting to get on the ride. So Nolf was arrested on April 5th of 2023, and he was charged with civil disorder, entering a restricted building or grounds, and disorderly conduct in a restricted building or grounds. In November of 2023, Nolf pleaded guilty to the felony charge of civil disorder, so he was looking at up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. The prosecutor, though, requested only 11 months in prison. 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell presided over Nolf's case, and I think I called him Nault earlier. I apologize. Anyway, in the end, she sentenced Nolf to 3 months in prison, 5 months of home detention, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. I'm not happy about this one, but at least he did get some prison time, unlike his sister. He didn't physically hurt an officer, but he was acting in a violent way that day, put his child at risk. So, I guess I'm like Susan Collins in this. I'm shocked and disappointed. This is one of the tougher January 6 judges, so I'm not sure what happened here, not sure why she gave him such a pass. The fact that he took his minor son to DC and put him in danger like that, to me, that alone, it warrants 11 months in prison. It warrants loss of child custody. I mean, I don't even get it. So anyway, luckily this was a felony, like I said, so he will not be voting for Donald Trump in November. That's a good thing. He will not be voting for the foreseeable future, even though he'll be out of prison. All right, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber if you have not. Really helps with the YouTube algorithm, really helps to get more eyeballs on this information. And if you can donate, really, really appreciate that as well. Links are below in the description box on YouTube and the podcast. Love you guys. Take care. Talk with you soon.